All right, this video is really for people who really want to obey the Bible, the God of the Bible. That's what I'm really speaking to. It could be people that listen to it, but those are the only ones I'm really talking to, those who really want to obey the Bible. Now, sometimes it's hard because people just don't, you have to have that holy presence of God, also called the Holy Ghost, Holy Spirit. It's not a cliche, it's an actuality. But then I have the video Walk in the Spirit. It should be in the description box. And that's how you would get it if you don't have it. The Holy Ghost or the Holy Presence of God. Give me one moment. And so when you had that, you had like Bible studies, you understand certain things. It can't just be any Bible study. It has to be Bible studies that are in harmony with the God of the Bible. A lot of people are holding Bibles, but they're not in harmony with the God of the Bible. So at the most, those type of religions will be on earth. They're never going to enter heaven. And it's a big sham. And I'm going to talk about it. And like if people get upset, it's because they're not on their way to heaven. Because why would you get upset? Especially like if you really on your way to heaven, if you really believe that, why would you really be getting upset about earthly stuff? And that's what John chapter 3 is all about. Nicodemus represented people who thought they had the knowledge, thought they were the religion and all that. But they didn't know the spirit. Same thing I'm trying to tell y'all now. And so he thought he was gonna go up against Jesus and say, well, you're not conforming to our writings. We have writings that say about this coming Messiah, and although you seem like you're sent from God, you are not meeting our beliefs of what our Messiah will be. Now I'm going to explain all that to you. Well, first of all, Jesus let him know, well, as God, I don't have to conform to Jack Diddley Squat. I'm God. That's the first thing. Anyway, I'm talking in spirit. He told a woman the same thing in John chapter 4, the very next chapter. God is a spirit. You must worship him in spirit and truth. And then he told Nicodemus in John chapter 3, the wind lists where it wants, or the spirit goes where it wants to go. Because the spirit is God. So you really need that. And but the bottom line was with Nicodemus, what they were showing you in John chapter 3, that's why we're talking about serpents for Nicodemus and a serpent for Jesus. Just like Moses had his serpent and Pharaoh had his. Pharaoh represented the beast who will rule planet Earth. Jesus represented the way out, the greater serpent that'll take you up. So again, if you don't know where you're going, and not saying somebody can't, like I said, I don't. That's why I don't even do that. I don't get into debates and all that foolishness because this is something you have to want more than anything. Just like anything else in life. Like take somebody like Jay Leno. He knew he had a gift. He was a comedian. He had very little money. He made it out to California. He had no place to stay. He was actually sleeping. He slept in his car for a little bit, and then he ended up sleeping in the comedy club had a stairway that he was sleeping because he couldn't afford no type of thing. But look at him now. I'm not saying you should live like that or do like that, but my point is when you really want something done, you will take steps to get it done. Now, if you did my Matthew chapter 10 study, I kind of just used the Bible to make that clear. The Bible lets you know that when you're born into a family, that family can become a problem for you. Let's just say you are one of those people heaven bound. So you got that spirit of God, and you can read the Bible, and you can actually understand it and see some things, and you know that because that's what happened with Joseph. See, Joseph knew what his brothers were doing was wrong. So when he addressed it or told the father or whatever he was doing, they didn't like that. See, Joseph represented heaven-bound people. That's why Joseph was talking about the stars and the moon and stuff like that. His brothers represented earthly people. They're talking about land and property, and we're doing these shortcuts, and we know Daddy wouldn't like it, but we're gonna do it anyway. And as long as you don't tell Daddy, Daddy ain't gotta know. But Joseph will go tell. So what that represents is the real father that we're supposed to all ascend to, and the fake religionists and the true. Joseph represented the true religion that really will ascend. So he had a relationship with the Father, and they didn't have that type of relation. Because Jesus said, if you read Matthew 7, he said it's going to be a lot of people that thought they knew him, but when that day come, he's going to say, get away from me, I don't know you. So even though they thought they had prayers and all that, and a relationship with him, he's not going to acknowledge it. So that's why you got to be very careful. But if you really study the Bible, he tells you. Like a lot of these Christians, they love to dress up. They love to throw celebrations where they're honoring all these people. But Jesus basically said, don't do that. Beware when men honor you. Not saying you can't have a little celebration of honor, but when it gets to be too much. My name is Doctor, Reverend, Bishop, blah, blah, all these titles. You're not important, dude. What you are really is a bloodsucker of the poor. Let's keep it 100. You're a liar and you're a bloodsucker of the poor. That's what you are. I don't give a darn what your titles say. And that's basically what Jesus told Nicodemus if you read John chapter 3. See, when you find a preacher that says, man, I'm the lowest it could possibly be, because that's basically what Apostle Paul said in the Bible. I'm the greatest of all sinners. Like, you know who, you know your place. Thank you, Lord. So God says, if you humble yourself, I'll exalt you. So as soon as you see these dudes, Dr. Reverend, blah, 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 blah. But I don't want to get stuck up on that. So again, if you stay on this planet, like you get caught up with this the media, all that stuff is ruled and manipulated. All your actors, rappers, all of them are in on it. Like one guy got away with it for decades. Everybody thought he was some type of savior, or he went against the machine, but he didn't. All that was orchestrated, from his fake death to on and on and on. I studied all of that. All that was orchestrated. But more and more people are waking up to the fact that this guy is not this big, great savior that they thought he was. And for some reason, right now, everything's getting exposed. No matter where I go, somebody's being exposed. So we're in a time where you just can't get away with the fake stuff. So now, we have to understand one thing. God never said you was going to be happy on planet Earth. He did tell you to pursue wisdom. A lot of times we don't pursue wisdom. We say, oh, I don't want to be lonely. I got to be with somebody. Okay, so you rush into a situation, or you think this is your twin flame or your soulmate or the person you're supposed to be with. So you think it's only right to be with that person. But then you step into a whole lot of drama and a whole lot of distractions. And that could forfeit person going to heaven. Because if you're not growing with God, if you haven't asked to walk in the Spirit, if you haven't said that prayer, if you haven't made that covenant with God, then you're still out there. And that's why you still getting caught up in fleshly stuff. And that's why you have to be very careful, because some people say, oh, I celebrate, praise, I'm saved. So then they use that as an excuse to turn it into like a club atmosphere, dancing and all that foolishness. I mean, it's a time and place for everything. But the main thing you should be saying is, what is my purpose? What will God have me do? And if you notice that you say your purpose is for God, but you're always in the limelight. Like, let's just say I could sing. I say, so the best thing I'm going to do is sing for the Lord. So you make a business out of it. You start doing whatever, making whatever CDs, whatever music they're using now, and using the internet and all that. But if you notice your name is getting bigger than Jesus's, be careful. If your name is getting bigger than God, be careful. And that's why Jesus kept saying, beware of men, or beware of egos. So now, like I said, Jesus said members of your own household might be your enemy. Now, you might really want to serve the Bible. You might really want to be with God, but you might have some crazy-ass family members. Some of your family members might even be under evil spirits. Crazy or whatever the case might be. But you can't let them people overtake you. That's why sometimes you have to toughen up, and you have to be ready to do whatever for God. Whether it's getting kicked out the house or sleeping somewhere, you got to be ready to do whatever you're ready to do for God. A guy I used to hang out with, he wasn't really... he wasn't really a friend of mine, but he hung out with people I used to hang out with. So we used to be over his house in 2001, and I don't know what happened to him, but somehow he ended up being homeless, and he had it so bad that wherever he was sleeping at, I don't even know, he had got locked up. I don't know what that man's story is, but wherever he was sleeping at, he was actually getting bit by rats and all of that. He said he still got the rat bites on his skin and all that. So he really would have looked like a homeless hobo bum. And then somehow he ended up at the church I used to go to, which was like that was a real the men in that church were like real gangsters. Them men had bodies and everything. But I wasn't there. This was after I left that church. And that church is exactly what I was saying. The people in the church, they didn't really want to serve God. They wanted to play church. See, God's not playing. You're not going to get into heaven playing church. Nothing wrong. If you can find a church that's really trying to obey God, God bless you. But this particular one, I'm just going to say it that way. This particular one, the pastor was serious, but the people that served the pastor wasn't. And they hated me, but they hated me because I was 100% on fire for the Lord. And I'm going to stay that way. I remember years ago, I used to cry to God about my family. Why my family do this? Why my family do that? And God finally told me, he's like, stop crying. Stop praying to me about this. He said, everybody you talking about is a grown adult. He said, let them grown adults do what grown adults do. You do what I told you to do. Everybody going to reap what they sow. So that's when I really realized, that's why I got to focus on me. Stop focusing on these people because these people don't give a damn. As long as God is convenient. Don't mean that they don't. You understand? They'll get up and pray to God. They'll get up in the morning and study the Bible and all that. But then they just walk away. Just like I said in the book of James, the man in the mirror. As soon as he walk away from that, he forget all about it. And the churches they go to ain't going to tell them the truth. At the end of the day, most churches are about social events, giving somebody your money, some music, and they might help out the poor or do something like that. It don't go too much deeper than that if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, hit me up at the email. Show me where I'm wrong and I'll do a video. Because I just gave you church. Honestly, in my heart, I feel like I just gave you church in a nutshell. Now, there might be some churches that are variants, but for the most part, that's not going to cut it. We'll get back to that. I don't want to spend too much time on that either. So, you got to find out what your role is. What is your purpose? Now I came from a very dysfunctional family, so I had no choice but to move away, get away, because it's easy to say, oh, you need more patience, and you're this and that and blah blah. But the bottom line is, I'm a little bit different. Like I'm like this. If people were sitting in the area and they was all getting along, right? And then another person come, from the moment that person shows up, now you got all kind of issues going on. So then they say, oh, you're too this, you're not enough that, or blah, you think you're this, or blah. But none of that was going on till this person came in. So my first thing would be, why don't you look at the person as opposed to trying to find fault with me? Since there was no problem until this person came. So why aren't we looking at the person? But for whatever reason, gender reason, or whatever reason is, they're not going to do that. So it ain't no fair one. But at the same time, I realize that God is still behind all that. So God causes that to happen for a reason. So you can learn from that situation, but in no way, shape, or form do you personally excuse that person. You understand what I'm saying? Because you'll never get to where you need to get. See, God throws a lot of things your way. But see, in the book of Job is a perfect example. God allowed Satan to hit Job with everything. But Job never forgot that I am a righteous man. So whatever's going on, nothing I ever did could have been what just happened to me. You got to remember that to keep your sanity. Because you can go crazy. And I'm saying I got a relative now that's having issues in that category. But I think, he was going to have those issues no matter whoever he was with. Because I think that's something, it's some type of chemical imbalance. So I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying that is what that is. but he's around a lot of like I don't know his family that well, but my family I know. But he's been around them for so long, he should be used to them. So things are gonna come your way. So I'm not saying go duck and hide under a tunnel or hide by yourself or be scared to go out where people are. But you've also got to realize how you're going to control yourself, and you also got to believe in yourself so you don't get all upset or emotional. Like, why is this happening? Oh, I worked so hard. Why did this happen to me? And blah, blah, blah. You got to realize that that's why you're here. Because God is going to keep on sending stuff your way to deal with. And that's why you really have to learn how to pray, trust God, and obey God, not humans. Now, some of us do have callings. Like, my calling is definitely ministry. And I, I always have to mention this gentleman because some of the stuff he says is just true. I don't agree with everything he says, but some of the stuff he says is true. He said people will be in the church for 30 or 40 years and don't know what their purpose is or their calling. And that's what's going to happen. Like, you can know I'm supposed to be some type of teacher, some type of minister, setting up ministries. I got a spiritual understanding of the Bible. But if you don't go out with that because your church told you not to, or your church told you, oh, no, that's not for you, or your family's bullying you, oh no, you need to spend more time with us. That's your problem. So you're doing exactly what Jesus said don't do. You're letting humans stop your God-given purpose. Because what I'm trying to make everybody know is not going to be easy. There is going to be sacrifice. There is going to be loss. People may lie on you. You may lose your job. Worse might happen to you. And in some countries, they'll kill a Christian. You just outside trying to talk to people about the Bible, and they'll arrest your ass and put you in some cell somewhere and possibly execute you. And you ain't even really did nothing. So it's not supposed to be easy. There is going to be sacrifice. Now, family is right. You should see family sometime. But you don't have to see family all the time. And what people have to realize is that's why, like, a dude like me has stayed single. No dating, no nada for decades. But that's by choice. So if I made all them sacrifices, why would I all of a sudden, take on somebody else's family's responsibilities and stuff like that? And that's why I had to let like a person know whatever you're going through, like you've been there before, so you should have phone numbers to call or something. And that's really between you and your family and like your bloodline relatives to work that out. Because they say, well, yeah, this is what I really want to say. Like when somebody says, you know what, you're never around. If you were here, I'd be more inclined to this or that. But let's be honest. I'm going to keep it 100. Because I've been doing this a long time. Let me just explain something to you. Like, I was always out in ministry. Now, I'm not the best talker in the world. I mean, I might seem like I have a lot to say online. But the bottom line is I'm actually really a pretty quiet person. Because I just get up and do it. Like, and I've always been that way since I was little. They used to call me little old man. So I always would have my idea what I was going to do and get up and do it. I don't need nobody encouraging me. I don't need nobody telling me shit. Like, if you could help me really move forward, then I will listen to you. But if you want some old BS or some political stuff, I can't deal with you because I have things I want to get done on this planet. And people that know me will tell you I'm always moving. But I come from an era where men used to walk fair because I knew all my uncles and stuff. We didn't come from no era with dysfunctional. Like, if the family was dysfunctional, everybody was still there. Not like now. You don't know who your daddy is, where the daddy at, why don't daddy. You don't even know. Like, this is just some crazy shit, but this is what happens the further you get away from the Bible, the Word of God. Because I know when an era came when you could tell all the men were just getting wiped out. All the men were getting wiped out because it was a new era that was coming. And this era has, in my opinion, has destroyed everything. because it ain't no stability. Just do what the F you want, make up anything, make God do what you want God to do, and it don't stop. Go on, go on, go on, go on. Oh, it's all right. Wear a whole bunch of colors on your dye your hair. Just go crazy. Sleep with this person, kiss that person. It go on and on because it's no like it's supposed to be like a right brain, left brain balance, but we don't have that no more. Now, how I benefited from it was this. Because I didn't have necessarily men in my house say, this is how men act and men do this. But it was good because, see, I'm intuitive. I have gifts from God where I have to be very intuitive. So you have to understand what happened with Joseph. Don't you think it's kind of funny that out of 10 of his brothers, none of them liked him? So that's telling you right there was something very unique about Joseph. And then Joseph's father gave him a coat of many colors. What was that all about? Why didn't he just give him a coat? He gave him a coat of many colors. So this dude was able to tap in. And then it was Joseph to save the whole world. Because he was able to tap into all the different energies and characteristics of all the people on that planet. So you got to go deep sometime when you study this. But he couldn't have just did that with masculine energy. And that's why Pharaoh was like, I can't do this. Let him do it. Because he had different energies. He had energies where he could understand everything. And he was talking about cows and stuff. So he probably had an animal. He understood the earth and stuff. So that's why God had to take Joseph away from, because he would have had all that male testosterone. And that's what happened with me. All the men got wiped out. So I got that sensitivity side, which I like because I'm able to understand stuff and pick stuff up and stuff like that. But I still got that masculine side because I was still raised by gangsters. But the most important thing I have is a spiritual side that says don't let nobody hold you back. This is a one-time opportunity. Don't let nobody hold you back. And me, like I said, I'm the type of dude, I'm not going to be being disrespected at all. Like, you're not going to play me out and think we're going to be cool. And that's where they probably underestimated me or whatever they was doing. But they thought, oh, we're going to just treat this dude like any way we want to. And he's still going to come around. I'm like, oh, no, I won't. And that's why God had to step in. Because had I had money and stuff like that, they probably never would have seen me. I would have probably pulled up for somebody's death or something. But they would have probably never seen me. Back then, I mean, I didn't have the knowledge I have now. Now I would just do things differently. But still, I would never put myself in a situation where I feel like a rapper, they called up a famous rapper and said, oh, so-and-so died. You coming to the funeral? He said, yeah, I'll be there. Okay, well, we need you to pay for the funeral. At first, the dude was like, all right. But then he thought about it. He's like, nah, I ain't paying for the whole funeral. All these people, they got money too. He said, listen, I'll pay half. Y'all come up with the other half. And they was like, nah, you paying. They tried to and this is his family. But this is what I'm trying to tell you about family. This is his family. They tried to extort him. They was like, nah, you a famous rap star. You paying for everything. And he like, no, I'm not. So he didn't pay for everything. So he came to the funeral anyway. And that's where he made his mistake. But if he didn't come, they would have said he's scared and all that. He couldn't win. So he came to the funeral. And of course, fights broke out with his own family. Because they was trying to extort money from him. So this is the real world we live in. And if he hadn't come to the funeral, they would have been saying, oh, the dude on his own family would have been like, oh, he called himself a gangster rapper. He was scared to come to his own family funeral. This dude ain't no gangster, blah, blah. So he had to come. But then he got locked up. So that's why I said, this is the world you live in, bro. And you had to be careful of everything. And that's why Jesus said, beware of men. Matthew chapter 10, you got to be careful of everything. And I'm just giving you the world from the Bible. Because your family's always going to tell you, oh, you should have been more. Well, when I was coming, you shouldn't have been treating me like garbage. Y'all went out of your way to really, really fuck me up psychologically. And y'all was trying to set me up to get locked up. So I gotta be wary of men. I gotta be careful. And then dude might say, well, you never went out of my way to meet my family. My family never did. But see, here's the deal. On the day of the marriage, I did try to talk to his family. But his mom and dad, they was acting like they was better than everybody. Like they was acting like, well, who we marrying and what is my son getting into? I mean, you might feel a certain way, but fake it. You know what I'm saying? Don't act like you better than me, cause I'm a real dude. Like I don't give a f how you feel, cause I don't have to talk to you, cause I don't know you. That should have been a time when you should have shook my hand and said, hi, this and that. So that's how, again, this was years ago. I probably handle everything a little bit differently now, but that's how I felt at that moment. And I even went to my grandmother. I said, and they was all the same religion. These is all Jehovah's Witnesses. And I went to my grandmother, who's also a Jehovah's Witness, and I asked my grandmother what she thought about them. And she said they do act like they better than everybody. Now that's the vibe they gave that day. And somebody said, why are you bringing it up? Because I'm making a point. That's the vibe that was given that day. So this is what I did, because I'm really psychotic when I can be, but keep in mind it's a long time ago. So what I did, I sat with him through the whole wedding. I sat with his mom and dad on purpose. I did that deliberately. I didn't say jack. The whole wedding went on. I was just celebrating my sister getting married and all that, and I was just sitting there, but I never said nothing to his mother or him, or the mother or the father. And so then when a preacher married my sister and him, and I, stood up, clapped my hands and everything. And then I looked at both of them and I said, now she's your problem. And I just walked out the church. I ain't say, that's all I said to him was, now she's your problem. Like that was my way of saying, oh, you think we fucked up? Now you gonna see how fucked up we really are and shit. And to be honest with you, I don't regret that day, because I did walk up to them to shake their hand. And that's how they chose to act. Then another time, it was like at a year later or something, at the a year later at I guess it was like a anniversary or something, but we were all there. And then they ain't really say nothing to me. His people was there, my people was there, and like I knew his brother. Man, his brother was kind of all right, but the father called me again. He gonna call me over to him, so I come up to him, and he gonna ask me a question just to put me down. So then I was like, okay, that's strike two. Cause see, back then I was a different dude. Like I really would not necessarily put my fist up and duke it out, but I would get into like whatever you want to call it. So he gonna call me all the way over, not say hello, not how you doing, but he gonna try to say something to put me down, right? Like to try to make me feel less of a man or whatever. I said, yeah, this dude really tripping. So then, come to find out, he had a doctor that was giving him wrong medication, and he was taking it, and he died. But that's the reason why he died. But what I was saying was, and this is why people get mad at me, but I just tell the truth. But that stuff you do come back upon you. See, first off, the religion y'all in, I used to be in that religion at one point in my life. That religion is booty. That's not even a real religion. That's a fake Bible, and that's a fake religion. So before you think you better than somebody else, you got to realize that the religion you in is fake and phony. And then second off, maybe if you spent more time worrying about positive things and not thinking you better than people, maybe you would have had a better grip on your medical situation. So people will get offended, but I'm just telling the truth. And that's why I keep trying to tell you is this. I don't have to subject myself to that bullshit. Like I got a God that told me what to do, and I listen to God. Now God is going to put me through hell, but God never leaves you nor forsakes you. That's what the book of Job is all about. You got to learn how to fight. Like when you really want to walk with God, then you are going to be in the Bible, and you are going to walk the walk that God puts you on, even if it is difficult. But what you're not going to do is fake it, or you're not going to be no fake-ass phony fraud, or you're not going to be with these punk-ass fake religions, which I have no part of. And when I do go through, I go through in peace, because I'm a lot older now. I don't have time to be duking it out with people. Some of the stuff I'm telling you go all the way back to the early 2000s. That's a long time ago. And some of these people, we've known them since like the 1990s or whatever. I remember my sister used to date this thug. And he was a real thug. This dude, but me and him, we was cool. He was a real thug. And so one time his mother had came through the house. I didn't even know it was his mother. And because I wanted to meet his mother because he was like a real thug and shit. So I want to see what she is like, to see like a thug mom and shit. So I was like, when she came through, I was laying down or something. I was down south or whatever. And then they was like, this is so and so's mom. I said, oh, that's your mom. And I got up and I hugged her. I was like, oh, hi, how you doing? And I hugged her and stuff. And I guess she's like, wow, why is he hugging me or whatever? But to have raised him, she had to be pretty tough. So, I'm just a different dude. Like, I'm a real dude. Like, don't come off at me like you bad. Especially bad. Like, now I don't care. I've been on the planet long enough. I don't really give a F what people think. But back then, I was still kind of thug too. So I'm not gonna let y'all. So they just came off the wrong way. So what I'm saying is they kind of set that environment, And then I had my own issues with my own family because one of them could have got knocked out because they was always lying, always up in my face. And like I don't care. I will swing. And it's not that I think I'm a tough guy, but like I come from a very violent, abusive background. So I'm very funny about people getting up in my face, yelling and screaming and thinking they can put their finger in my face. And this is what these crazy broads will do. So no, you don't, biblically speaking, you don't have to hang out around people like that. They're setting up an environment that forfeits a union. But then they want to blame you. How come he don't never come around? Because your ass is crazy. I'm on a different level. I'm trying to really serve God in the Bible. And if you were really serving the God in the Bible, we wouldn't have no problems. Because you would know how to say words like, I'm sorry. You would know how to say words like, okay, we're going to try our best to have a nice, full, peaceful family get together. But y'all don't. Y'all on some fake shit. Every last one of y'all think y'all something that you're not. Like this dude thought he was a know-it-all. Well, if you knew everything, you would have known to take the right medication. Like if I'm taking medication and I start having adverse effects, I do something about it. I don't keep taking the pill. Like I don't know what that was all about. But these are all people pointing their fingers their way like they're better than you, or they're going to try to make you feel less than you are and all that. And you have a right to stand up for yourself. One way or another. And if it's a violent situation like mine was, you can't come around those people. Because when the cops come, guess who they're going to lock you up? They're going to lock you up. The Bible believing, all that, they don't care. Tell it to the judge, and he ain't going to want to hear it either. So you got to realize you came with a purpose, and Satan will use whoever he can use to stop it. And that's why Jesus says in Matthew 10, I came to separate mothers from daughters from another. Beware of men, beware of humans. That's a reality for people that really want to get to heaven. Now, most of these fake ass phonies ain't going nowhere near heaven. They think they are. They got the look, but the heart ain't there. The action's not there. And you got to realize that. Typically speaking, I represent the kingdom of God. I'm going up. These people are traitors. You won't be around no traitor nowhere else. So, what people say is my weak point, I think is my strong point. Because I'm just an honest person. And you should just be more mature and all that. But what I keep trying to say is, why do I have to be the one to be whatever to make you get to do what you should do? Because when you want to smoke that weed, you don't say, well, Gary, if you was a little bit mature, no, you go smoke the weed. When you want to do whatever, break or disobey God, do drugs, whatever else you want to do in life, you don't go, if Gary was this, then I would do that. But when it comes to religion or something else, now it's Gary's fault that you don't read the Bible. Now it's Gary's fault that you don't really commit like you should. So that's how I know I'm dealing with a pansy ass. And I don't have no time for no pansy asses. And like I said, I'm going out of my way. I wrote books. Some of these people have gotten copies. Did you read it? No. Do you investigate how to get the book? No. Okay, if you don't want to spend the money, I have websites, YouTube channels. You can get the information? No. But then you want to blame somebody else. Oh, if he would have spent more time with me and blah, 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 blah. Nah, because y'all was too busy arguing or some other stupid stuff. Always running somewhere out in the world. Some celebration to go to. Some country to visit. So you're already telling God, listen, God, We see you when we see you. But I gotta enjoy my life. And that's more important. Like in a recent argument, because of the situation that's going on right now, the wife was saying to the mother, "How dare you tell me to be more supportive of my husband? Look what you did with daddy." Now, keep in mind they're talking about my father too. So I could get involved with that and get emotional. But I basically said, listen, that don't got nothing to do with right now. You bringing up stuff 20, 30 years ago. We talking about right now. Now, to be honest with y'all, she does have a point. But the bottom line is that's kind of like a low, dirty blow. The man dead. So why you putting his name in your mouth when you got a situation going on? But in this particular case, to show you how I roll, I could have got emotional. I could have got upset. All I said, what's the real situation? The real situation is you have a grown man that knows he has to handle certain things and he don't want to do it. So that's how I look at it. And I told him, I said, if they got to come and put your ass in a straitjacket and take you up out of there, I'm telling them to do it. I said, I will back you up in anything, but I can't back you up in that. I said, because you putting yourself at harm and you putting the other people, your kids, everybody, you putting everybody at harm. Because don't nobody know what you're going to be doing, bro, because you starting to act really, So if you don't want to do it yourself, then they should do it. So this is how I see it. As much as they want to blame me for everything. Like, I did reach out to these people, his side of the family. And almost every time I reached out to those individuals I'm talking about, they was always acting like they was too above you. And then back then, I'm like, man, you ain't above me. Now I'm more mature. Now I might handle things differently because I'm more mature. I've aged and everything. But back then, I still have my like fuck you mentality. Like, nigga, I don't need you. You don't pay my bills. Who you think? I was just like that for whatever reason. I don't even know why. But back then, it was like that. Everything was just high strong. And in life, like I said, y'all gotta understand with me, I deliberately live a very I just stay focused on the word of God. I stay focused on ministry. I don't really do a whole lot of anything. Cause all my friends, like I said, most of them are dead. Like guys I grew up with, they either not around no more or they dead. And even then, I'm just a different dude. Like, I don't need to be out all the time. Because I try to explain things to people. But if you're really walking with, this is how you really know you're walking with God. If when you go somewhere, all hell break loose. Like somebody will come stand next to you, and from the moment that person comes stand next to you, all hell break loose. Or you'll be in your lane, obeying the traffic laws, and some idiot will come. They could be in a far lane, and they'll come all the way over and cut you off. And you'll be like, well, if they had to make that turn, maybe they just had to make that turn, and they won't even turn. There was no logical reason for that person in that car to literally take their car all the way across lanes, like 2 or 3 lanes, even risking cutting off anybody else just to cut you off. And I see that shit all the time. So you start to learn you got to watch how you walk. Especially when you're talking about going out of town. Because now you're somewhere where don't nobody know you. So when them cops come, they don't give a fuck who you are. You're not from around here. And they don't care. They're not going to waste their time trying to check out, is this a good person? I could care less. So you have to be aware of all of that. So that's why I just learned that, hey, if I meet a person and they acting funny already, why would I want to get to know you more? I already got a bunch of a-holes. Why would I want to take another a-hole on? And people can get mad. But you can't really get mad if you keep it in 100, because the same dude said he just recently called the same person up to tell them, oh, you hurt my feelings or something. So you're agreeing with me when it comes to you. But when it comes to me, you want to make it seem like I'm the bad guy. So that's why I can't deal with no dumbass people, bro. At the end of the day, I'm going to do me. I'm going to serve God, and I'm going through the door. Now, as far as anybody talking about, oh, if he was here, if he had done, dude, I got so much free information and stuff. that if you really wanted to learn, just like you learned how to do this, you learned how to do that, anything you wanted to learn, you learned. So you can go to any of these videos. Like if somebody contacts me with real questions showing me that they actually listened to a video and God, then I understand. Because they're actually showing me that they actually put in time. But you'll have people that'll contact you that don't want to study shit. How you think you're going to learn by me talking to you? When you don't want to pick up a book, you don't want to study, you don't want to take no notes. And it got so crazy, like, I said, all right, this amount. Because I'm figuring, okay, this will end this BS. This amount. You want me to spend my time? This amount. And then they'll still try to come up with it. And that's showing you that's the devil. Because that's just silly. But it's anything to waste your time. Let me just give you one example. Because I got many. Let me just give you one example. I had to be in bed by 11 o'clock recently. This was only a few nights ago. Because I had to get up early and do something. I'm getting ready to shut everything down. 10:44. This person been contacting me over and over again. All right, I'll pay this right now. Blah blah blah. So when they contacted me, they was talking kind of crazy or whatever. But this is the real deal. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. But I do natal charts. So a lot of crazy stuff people say, you can see it on a natal chart. So I'm like, all right, that's the first thing you do is your natal chart or whatever. But then I was like, they're like, but I need it done now, whatever. Then I didn't even consent or approve. Then they just put money there. They put like 15 there. And I was like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, now, I've been talking to this person now for a good week or something. All of a sudden, I need to get to bed. Got some crazy weirdo. Now you're going to put money down. Why didn't you put money down a week ago? All right, now I let them know. All right, I'm going to stay up. I'm going to get this done. But then I got to go to bed. So then I say, okay, you talking about this. I said, there's no way I can really help you without your natal chart. So I already know because I deal with everybody. I deal with all kind of people. You need your natal chart. All that talking on the phone about this weird ass. Everybody see weird shit. That's not going to change nothing. Get the natal chart. Find out what's going on. You already put the money down. Just get the natal chart. Boom, boom, boom. Be good to go. They go, okay. So then I get ready to go into... Now keep in mind when they first contacted me, they was talking about they thought they had some unique connection to a planet. They thought they was a planet or something. But like I said, I have seen shit why people may feel that way on the natal chart. I have seen it. So, I like to get the natal chart, bottom line. I'm not just going to sit there and be speculating because I don't know until I see it. So first they said that's why they was contacting me. Then, I said, all right, so I'm going to look on your natal chart. I'm going to do the whole thing, and I'll see if you got any connections to this planet. Then they go, no. I don't want that. I already know this. I already know that. I already know that. I need that. And I'm already starting to know. Here we go, another weirdo. And plus it's certain people that come from certain. I'm gonna keep it 100. That whole African stuff, that whole Caribbean stuff. A lot of them people be out there like they just really think they know everything and they really don't. And like I'm not that dude. Like you're not with the natal stuff. Now on something else I might just shut up. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's something I can't win, I'm not going to keep arguing. Because I could be 100% right, but the majority might be against you, whatever might be against you. It ain't no sense arguing. So I let that person, you got that one. I'll fall back. Because there ain't no money involved, ain't nothing like that. I'll fall back. You want to believe that crazy stuff, go ahead with it. But if it's something where I know I got to win, or something I'm not losing Jack Dilly squad, then I'm going to stand up for myself and be like, nah, and tell them straight up, you don't know what the hell you talking about. It just depends. So now she keeps changing what she said. So now she's talking about, and keep in mind, she said she need this done now. I got to get to bed. I already told her I got to get to bed. I'm trying to get this thing done, trying to help her down, and the price that she's been given is a very affordable price. And then she's talking about, no, I don't want no natal chart. You're doing something against my will, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, she just said that's what she wanted. So I shut that down real quick. I said, first off, you should be glad I'm even helping you, especially for this price you paid, because this price you paid ain't Jack Dilly squat. I said, second off, you talking all this stuff, you don't even know what you're talking about. You keep changing. I said, you're not going to keep changing your order. You made an order. That's the order you're going to get. And then I made sure I took everything and made sure I went through everything and helped out as much. But in the video, I had to tell her, I said, whatever you're going through, you either need to get to a deliverance ministry, or you need to get some psychological help. I said, but I did give you enough information to show you what was going on, which I did, because you could just, she had a lot of retrogrades and stuff, so she got a lot of stuff going on. But you know, she was like really losing her mind. And I get a few people like that, but no, you're not bringing that craziness here. That's the first thing I do whenever I'm dealing like emotionally disturbed people, or people that can't control their emotion. You won't be around me. See, a lot of people make choices that they don't have to make. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Now, just like his family could say jack about me, but as far as I know, they've never come over here. And if they've come to Jersey, they've only come to Jersey like a few times. And I think the last time I seen him, I think was for my sister's birthday. And to show you how real it was, I didn't really even remember him. But when I seen him, we was all sitting at the church downstairs, because now it was like the repast when you go down there and be eating food. And I was like, that's your family, right? He's like, yeah. And then I went over there and said hello to him, and then they just said hello to me, and I kept it moving. But like I said, that was some shit that started way back. Now, if I could go back to that day, I probably would go out my way to be more friendly, because I've grown up. But back then, I was thugging. I was still in them fucking streets. And it was like, when I say in the streets, I wasn't selling no drugs, but I was with niggas. Niggas was selling, or I was hanging out with people, shit like that. But I was never on no street corners in any instance of no drugs and nothing like that. But we be in the bars and shit like that. But a lot of my friends was money makers. Because I never was with that selling to your own family. But to keep it 100, but when you don't want to give nobody no jobs, they going to get money one way or another. You got to get money to live. That's just a fact. But no, I don't condone selling drugs to your own people. Never did. And I've always spoke against it. You don't understand. I used to be on television, New Jersey Cablevision. I did a rap show. I used to be on there with a rap show. And I would be talking shit about the hood and shit. And I would still be in the hood. And niggas would just be looking at me. But they had so much respect for me, ain't nobody put their hands on me. So again, when God calls you, it is going to be family problems. But even if you marry a female, it may seem all right in the beginning, but then she might start changing. And she may become an obstacle. She might not know, why do you always want to preach? Why do you always want to be online? Why are you always talking about ministry? This is boring. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to go out. I'm wasting my life and blah, blah, blah. Now what you going to do? You understand now what you going to do? So you ain't never going to get away from that crazy shit. Whether it's a male or female, it's always going to be somebody on some bitch shit. And when I say that, I'm talking about emotion. What about me? Look at me. Me. That's that vanity bitch shit. Whereas when you serve God, it's supposed to be about sacrifice. It's not about you for the most part. It's not nothing wrong with going out and taking care of yourself. And of course you're going to make mistakes like everybody else. But what I'm trying to say is your whole life is not centered around, like, say my mom, she always down south. See, she don't even have a life no more because she the grandma now. So she back and forth, down south, down south, down south, down south. So your life can't be like that. God got to be the person you serve. And that's how I honestly see it. And like I said, I have no problem showing up somewhere to worship, but I'm not worshiping nowhere where niggas running up on me. And I already know how it's going to go, bro, because I done seen it all them times. And I can't do that no more because I've been here too long. And like, I can't go back to doing shit I was doing in the 1980s because I really talked to God about that. Like, is this all it is to it? Like, I'm sick of this shit, bro. Is there anything else? And if it's not nothing else, can I leave? Like, I'm tired of seeing the same shit. I'm tired. I can't go through 1980s no more because this petty shit I see, I can't do it no more. And I gotta be very careful because it don't stop. Like if you get up, say you want to go to a 24-hour store and you get up, say it's early in the morning, you minding your own business. Now this really happens. I'm not making none of this stuff up. Now you're doing the speed limit and everything. So all of a sudden, some big ass truck or whatever comes behind you, pickup truck, all up on your ass and all loud and all, and it's early in the morning, bro. And you're saying to yourself, where could this guy possibly be going this early in the morning? So then he races around you, right? So then you go in a parking lot. Keep in mind, whenever you come into a parking lot of a shopping center, you're only supposed to be doing about 5 to 15 miles per hour. You're not supposed to be speeding through the parking lot. That's the law. So now you're turning into the parking lot, and you're getting ready to go into your getting ready to go across the park, and that same dude comes speeding through again. And if you didn't put on your brakes, he would have literally hit you. So now you put on your brakes, he slams on his brakes, and now he's just looking at you, you looking at him, because he's trying to provoke you. You tell that dude to go ahead. So then he drives, but he goes and takes the exact same space you was about to park in. Now, if all the shit ain't satanic, you tell me what it is. So then you pull your car up, and I ain't thinking about this fool, because I will commit murder. Like, I don't play no games. I will commit murder. If I think I'm being threatened, I will commit murder. I won't think twice about it. You can go ahead, call me murderer, call me whatever you want, but nigga, God, no. That's all. That's the only person I'm worrying about. Not worrying about no hammer, no judge, no other shit. Whatever happened, gonna happen. So I pull up my car. Now I have to go to my trunk to get some shit out. I'm not thinking about this dude. So he gets out his truck, and then he goes to the back of his truck and stands there. So if this dude ain't trying to provoke some type of situation, I don't know. And that happens all the time, y'all. So whatever I just told y'all, multiply that by about 100 times. And then you'll begin to understand when I'm sick of that shit. That you got to really move a certain way, because if you don't, you're going to end up locked up, and it's not really going to be your fault. But the law going to say you guilty. And you've seen how many people been killed dead, and they can't even prove that any of those people should have been shot. They don't even know why them people got shot. And the people that shoot them don't even go to jail. Lie and keep on coming right back out to the street at some point to shoot somebody else. So that's the real world. And that's how you got to live your life, based on the facts. And again, they keep saying what Gary should be doing, what Gary should be doing. How come they not doing it? Any one of them could say, hey, listen, I want a real Bible study. Now, I'll definitely make time for a real Bible. They never said that. Any one of them people could have said, hey, let's try to get to know each other better. Any one of those people could have said, hey, I made a few mistakes here, but I want to show you that I'm sorry, and let's work it out. Ain't none of them people say none of that shit. So why is it always Gary? So that's why Gary sees how the game is really played, and I'm not playing that game. And Gary's not the one that's dying early. Y'all niggas are, because y'all niggas ain't in harmony with God. That's why you dying early. Or if you see yourself needing whatever, it's because you're not in harmony with God. Because if you was in harmony with God, you would do like I do. You know how to pray. Because I've been given wrong medication. I've known how to pray, work with God, and overcome it. I have pains and stuff. I know how to pray, work with God, and overcome it. I know how to pray to get my heart pressure down. I know how to go through a horrible situation and keep praying and get through it. I've been lied on, got fired from somebody lying that should have been there for me, wasn't. Went through all that, still here. So this is not for babies. And that's why I say I really don't play games. This is not for babies. Not for no fake Christians. Not for that fake shit. Y'all can go ahead and do that junk y'all doing and stay on planet Earth. Because that's what's going to happen at the end of all of this. Did you sacrifice? Not really. Did you really obey the God of the Bible? Not really. Did you love the world more than you love God? Yes, I did. Did you change with the Holy Spirit? No, I didn't. Get away from me. I don't know you. And one time I heard Mark come out and tell y'all the truth. Jonathan Clegg came out and told y'all the truth. All these people are talking about sacrifice. Now, a lot of people say stuff about Jonathan Clegg, this and that and this and that. And I really don't know. But I know a lot of stuff he say about that spiritual warfare and stuff like that is true. It could bring you to tears if you don't get you. Once you get used to it, you'll stop crying. Because crying ain't going to change shit. Now, when I see people, I try to be as respectful as possible. If people try to pull me into this nigga shit or this dysfunctional stuff, this serpent stuff, and that could be any person, any race, any color, I try my best to disregard it. My policy always been just don't touch me. Because if I ever feel threatened, then the game stopped, and then I show you the real deal. That's the funny thing about this life. Like, a real nigga can always show you the real deal. He might put up with a lot of fake shit because he ain't got no choice, but a real nigga will always show you the real shit at some point, and either you could accept it or reject it. That's why I said you had all these people at work conspiring against me for whatever reason, and I get terminated. But then I got to the higher court, so to say. And the court wanted to know what happened, and the court heard real information, real testimony, and then the court performed a real investigation, and the court came back saying we found no evidence whatsoever that this man did anything to get terminated. They wrote that in paperwork. So that's real shit. That's what real niggas talk about. Not LOL, not internet bullshit, not all this other stupid ass garbage. This is what God is saying. Do it this time. I'm only doing what God says. And if God wanted me around these people, he'd put me around these people. But for the most part, God don't put me around those people all the time. And as far as going back and forth now, right now I got to be worrying about my heart. That's the first and foremost stuff. And real talk, anybody know anything about heart medication, it can make you keep going to the bathroom back and forth. So I definitely can't be on no train getting up and down, up and down. People already running up on me. I could be sitting somewhere minding my own business, and they still run up on me, start effing with me. Now imagine what's going to happen. I keep getting up on the train going back and forth. First, they're going to think you a terrorist. They're going to think you crazy. And you're going to think somebody thinking you a mark. Oh, look at that weirdo. And they think you an easy target to run up on. I can still tell you about the time we was on Broad Street, Newark. Me and this dude I used to be cool with. I'm going to show you how this really worked. Now, me and him was both before Joe Witnesses, me and him went to school together. Then I became a Joe Witness, and then I brought him in. We was in Broad Street in Newark, and we was walking, but we knew we was in Newark, and we knew how Newark could be. And at the same time, me and him started getting this vibe that something wasn't right. And we started saying to each other, yo, I think we might be being followed. Now, how we knew that, but this is the power of God, because what I'm telling you is a true story. How we knew that, I can't tell you how we knew that, but this is the power of God. So me and him was saying, I think somebody following us. He said, yeah, it looked like somebody following us. And then and then he said, I'm gonna count to 3. He said, when I count to 3, we gonna stop and turn around. He said 1, 2, 3. We stopped and turned around, and it was 2 niggas right behind us. And as soon as they seen us turn around, they tried to fake it like they tried to turn, but they was really following us, trying to catch us out there. So that's the power of God. Because God is still everywhere. Don't get me twisted. All I said was this. This is what the Bible says. God will be with all these religions until the end. But it's at the end that he says, who's going to heaven? You're going because you really walked in the Spirit. You're going because you really walked in the Spirit. You're going because you walked in the Spirit. Even though you had bad information because your religion was faking, but you really walked in the Spirit. Because I know a lot. Like, I used to be with this woman named Donnie Matthews. She gave everything for God, but she was a Jehovah's Witness, so she had a fake Bible, and I was a Jehovah's Witness at the time. Fake Bible, fake whatever, but we was really out there. We was really doing God's will. So God's not gonna use that against them. He's not gonna make them suffer because of their religion. That's just not God, because their heart was in the right place. They just didn't have all the knowledge. But the fake, phony frauds ain't going nowhere. They're gonna be here on earth like everybody else. That's the one thing all these religions got in common. Just like they all on earth now, and they all fighting for their own supremacy on earth, their own denomination. That's where they're going to be. But they ain't going to fight for jack, because the beast is going to take over everything on earth. That's how it's really going to go down. Now, it's a struggle. But the bottom line is your family, just like, I hate to put it this way, but if you married somebody and then you wanted out of the relationship, well, at least you got to know what it's like to be married, good or bad. And if you did have your brother, you chased your brother out of your life, well, at least you got to know what it was like to have a brother for a little bit of time or whatever you did. But the bottom line, anybody that's really being called by God, they're not looking at life no more. I can't look at like family. Like, we just had a big family get together. I should have been there because I'm the last male. You had my grandfather, you had my father, and you had me. And I don't have no kids. So I should have been there to represent my grandfather. But first off, when they threw the family reunion, they only gave me a week's notice. And the week they gave me, I had just been fired. I'm going through this bad so-called twin flame relationship shit. Fired by the twin flame, all kind of pain, emotional pain, and just blood pressure. Everything was high, health pains. So I was fucked up. So there was no way I was going nowhere for no reunion. But they should have let you know, have planned that. Even if they gave you almost a month notice, maybe I could have did something. But they're really 2 months. That's something that should be planned. That shouldn't be something that just comes out the blue. But I guess for some reason, I wasn't supposed to be there. And I can only figure out why, because I don't know. But for the most part, I'm just going to be honest with you, and you can take it any way you want. But every man I'm naming, from grandfather to father to me, the women have ran over top of. My poor grandfather, when he got sick, they tried to take care of him for a while. Then they put him in a nursing home. As soon as they put him in a nursing home, he was dead. Like almost as fast as they put him in a nursing home, he was dead. But my grandfather was a very big man, and it was hard because they start losing their mind. They start doing all kind of crazy things. So they had to put him in. At first, I was mad when they put him in, but now that I'm older, I can look back and say that they probably did the best thing because he was starting to do a lot of weird shit. And as far as my father, he had heart trouble, but he let the women drive him crazy. He became a very violent man. So it was kind of good God took him because he had become too violent. And I was just waiting till I got a little bit bigger. I was gonna kill him anyway. Keep it 100, because the shit he did was too violent to me and my mother and other people. So he was a dead man anyway. So I'm glad God took him, because if God hadn't taken him, I would have took him. And then it's just me. Now, I'm the only one that's really trying to serve God and sacrificing for God and stuff like that. But this is not easy. And this is why I don't have time to be out here LOLing and community and all that silly stuff. I'm out here for people that really want to study the Bible and really want to know. Even when I was given with that gift, a lot of people was using that, trying to get me to use that gift for stupid stuff. And I had to make a decision, because I could have sat back and just cash register. I don't care. But I couldn't. All my life, I've had integrity. All my life, I've stood on principle. All my life, I wasn't going to back that up just because somebody's trying to send some cash my way. I didn't want it. This is for people that really want to know what their purpose is. This is for people that really care. If you're just talking about LOL, or if the only thing you're talking about is your twin flame, but you don't care about nothing else, this ain't for you, because you probably ain't going to get your twin flame anyway, because you're obsessed with it. You got to understand how to work. That is a journey. That is a journey. It's not, when are we going to be together and all that, because that may or may never happen in this life. So I think once people got that reality check, they kind of fell off. But I felt like maybe it was a good thing, because I've never really gotten involved with no silly stuff. And I'm glad. Like, I'm happy. Y'all have to understand I'm happy, because I could never be that man. I could never be Al Bundy. I could never be in a situation with somebody that I'm not happy with and all that. And I refuse to ever again, because I've taken too many women on dinner that have cursed me out. I'm taking them on dinner. I'm doing everything a guy's supposed to, and they're still cursing me out. And once I saw that, I said, man, this is bullshit. So on this planet, no matter what you do, it's always going to be bullshit. So let me just go ahead and serve God, put my time in on this prison that we in, and get the fuck up out of here. That's how I look at it. And if anybody wants to talk to me on a one-on-one mature level, I'm more than happy to talk. But if they come in with that emotional, crazy stuff, all that lying and stuff, you won't be talking to me. And I thank God I still had that opportunity. And if I do get like, I've been around dudes before. Okay, what'll happen? Either they're gonna respect you or they not. You know what I'm saying? And as far as violence, everybody suffer violence at some point in their life. Well, not everybody, but I've seen violence. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I've seen a lot of violence in my life. So it is what it is. But I'm gonna put God first. And as far as violence, you saw Paul got beat up, the apostles got beat up. Especially walking with God. There's people all over the world losing their life for the name of Jesus and getting killed for the name of Jesus. So when you really understand the real picture, either you with God or you not, that's what it's really about. It's not about all that other stuff. And if people are unhappy, I guarantee they're unhappy because when they had a choice to act like a human, they acted like an a-hole. And they made the situation bad. And now that the situation got bad, them same people are going, oh, we don't never see him. All right, yeah, because you made that situation that way. Why don't you tell the truth? But they're not going to tell the truth because they're liars. And that's why you're not going to see the kingdom. You're going to see planet Earth. You're not going to see the kingdom above. You'll be on planet Earth. Okay? And everybody like me, I don't want to be on planet Earth. I'm going up. So that's all that matters to me. All that other stuff, it is. And if there's some type of emergency, I'll be as supportive as I can. Stuff like that, but just all this everyday stuff, I'm not with it. This is Gat. It's been a pleasure. God bless.